Hey everyone, in this video I will be walking through my Bezier Curve assignment for the CS 60 to 50 course. I built an interactive Bezier Curve editor using the AftrBurner engine where users can dynamically add, edit, animate and visualize Bezier curves in 3D space. Let me show you how the whole system works. This tool lets me build both standard Bezier curve and fixed endpoint curves by manipulating control points directly. As I add or move control points, the curve updates instantly. For example, if I move the point 0, we can see that curve is updating accordingly, and Y coordinate, G position, and if I move point 2, we can also see that the curve is updating accordingly. As you can see, the curve instant updates instantly. The editor also displays control lines. The green line we're seeing is the control lines, and the line with the bounding box is control point. And this bounding box, I added it so that it looks like a 3D space properly. When I open the Bezier Curve editor, the system initialized default control points. The default control points contains 4 control points with the minimum required number of control points to create the Bezier curve. The UI contains add control point button which inserts the new control point upon clicking it. If I click on add control point, new control point will be added. It is added by adding 5 points in every direction. Like if I click on the add control button, it will add new control points. You can see it in the screen. Like as I click on the add control point, the new control point will be added. As we can see here, and I can change the coordinates of the control points from the given slider. Let me go up, and if I can change the coordinate, and we can see that curve is updating accordingly. I can change the coordinates of every control points from here, and I have another button, remove last point. Upon clicking this, it will remove the latest control point from the world list. We can see that, and there is another clear all button which wipes everything except the default control points. For each point I can adjust x, y, z coordinates using the slider from here, and I have also added the curve type and appearance settings. Like I can switch between two curve model, standard Bezier curve where every point participates in the full polynomial, and another one is fixed endpoints mode. If upon checking the fixed endpoint mode, it will use the fixed endpoint mode algorithm. In endpoint modes, the first and last points lock in place, and the curve smoothly passes between them with B spline like influence from the middle of the point. We can see that if I add more control points and update it, coordinate. If I switch between fixed endpoint, you can clearly see the difference in the curve between them. I can also adjust the curve resolution, like having lower resolution gives less smooth curve. For example, if I increase the resolution, we can see the change in the curve resolutions. And I have added another slider for the curve thickness. I can increase or decrease the thickness of the curve from here. And there is another slider for the control line thickness. If I increase or decrease the count, I can also increase or decrease the thickness of the control line. And I have one more slider for the control point size. I can increase or decrease the size of the control point from here. And I have added four checkbox to display or the toggle between the display of the curve. If I click on the show curve control point, it will hide the control curve, and if I click again, it will display the curve. And there is another one for the control points and for control lines, and another one for bounding box. I have also added the color changing options for control point, control line, and the curve. If I click on here and change the color of the line instantly, as you can see that, and two display regions for curve degrees and the curve points. Curve degree is just number of control points minus 1, and I have added animation function for it. If I click on the animate button, it will display all the points I added or removed before. It keeps everything in its sketch and animate accordingly. We can see on the screen animation that what I did during the interaction with the Bezier curve. And I can remove point or add control point, change the coordinate, and I can interactively see the change in behavior of the Bezier curve. Remove the fixed-endpoint method and do the same thing. The bounding box is just for reference to show that where the control point lies. Bezier curve we can see here. That's all for my Bezier curve assignment. Thank you for watching.